Good evening, and I hope you're having a great Monday evening. I hope your weekend went well, and I want to welcome you to another fantastic show of Fresh, Natural, and Live. Today, we're going to be talking about fitness. It's another area that's very, very important to your health, and I have two very special guests on this evening who's going to walk us through the basic aspect of physical fitness and the importance of physical fitness. We have a motto at Montgomery Heart and Wellness. It's eat like a rabbit and train like an athlete. And I've got two fitness coordinators whom I know personally who will help you train like an athlete like no one else. But the question comes into play, and this is an underlying question I'm going to ask our special guest tonight. Why should individuals who are, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who are not professional athletes, why should we train like athletes? I mean, why shouldn't we just go and, maybe go for a little walk or a little bicycle ride? But why should we condition our bodies, strengthen our bodies, and improve our cardiovascular fitness? Why are these things important for the average individual, who's not making, millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars for that matter on athletic fields? So we're going to try to address this underlying question. I remember a colleague of mine, he's an orthopedic surgeon, and we were talking about working out, and he was saying, look, I don't get out and, hurt myself that much. I'm not getting paid for this. And it made sense when you think about it superficially. However, are we getting paid for keeping our bodies in tip-top shape? That getting paid, I put quotation marks there. So I want us to keep these questions in mind as we go through this conversation that we have with our guests. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about two guests we have on tonight, and I'm going to read their bios. The first guest is Jada Smith. Jada is a certified professional trainer. She's certified in the National Academy of Sports Medicine. She's a group instructor and dance choreographer. Jada has an exceptional athletic background. She was a high school athlete, participated in several sports, including track and field, basketball, and wrestling. Jada, she's outstanding, has other talents in dance, has 15 years experience, and she toured with hip hop and R&B artists, choreographing tours and shows and videos, participating as one of the dance specialists. She's worked in the healthcare field as a certified nurse assistant and a home health care aide. She also was a certified emergency medical technician. She has education in anatomy and kinesiology at Merritt College in Oakland, California. Jada is certified through professional fitness instructor and has both CPR and first aid training in Houston. And that comes in can be valuable when you're training certain people, especially as hard as she trains you out. But Jada's passion is facilitate healthy lifestyle transformation. She enjoys her work by innovative training philosophies, tested and proven exercise programs, nutrition guidance, and strong motivational support. And at this very moment, Jada's having some technical problems getting on the show. I see her flashing in and out of the studio. So once you get those technical problems with the computer taken care of, we'll bring Jada on. But our other guest is a good friend of mine. I've been working out with him for some time. It's Lionel Wilson. Lionel Wilson was born in Houston in 1961. He's the youngest of four children born to Joe and Ida Wilson. He became interested in football at a very young age. His father noticed his potential and began working long hours with him and to hone his athletic talent. He instilled in Lionel that the only way to become great is to not take shortcuts, but to develop a strong work ethic. He had long practice hours with Lionel, including mornings and evenings while his peers slept. Lionel was the starting quarterback at Jesse H. Jones High School in Houston and at the University of Houston from 1980 to 1983. While at the University of Houston, he ranked in the top 5 in passing plays, most plays in total offense, most attempted passing plays, most completed passes, and most yards gained in passing. Lionel also set University of Houston records for total offensive passing in a single season in a career. He has held the high school's record for total rushing yards by a quarterback for 33 years. Lionel was drafted into the National Football League and played for the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Oilers. Today, he continues to bring his energy and passion to the field of personal training. His typical workday begins from sunrises and does not end until the sun sets. He is dedicated to helping his clients improve not only through physical conditioning, but also other healthy ways such as nutrition and spiritual wholeness. He does more than provide direction. He lives the lifestyle as an example to his clients. It is his desire to instill a similar intense work ethic, discipline, and determination, and strong moral character in his sons and in other youth that he mentors in outreach work. Lionel's greatest joy, in addition to his sons, is helping people better their health because he believes your health is your wealth. So without further ado, Jada and Lionel, welcome to the show. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good evening. Jada, sorry about the problems. We see you flashing in and out, and we understand there's some, we've had many guests have technical problems, so we'll bear with you, and the group will bear with you. So, this is a great topic, health, physical fitness, and I'm constantly talking to my clients about physical fitness. But just give me an overview. Jada, start with you in terms of, the things you deal with and dealing with fitness. I mean, we know the beginning of the year, people come and they're making their New Year's resolutions and they're working to try to improve their overall health. But what are some of the issues that you deal with in your clients, and what are some of the things? And of course, I'm a client of both of y'all, so you don't have to tell my bad problems. But what are some of the things you deal with your clients in terms of conditioning and staying fit? I mean, what are some of the things that, let's say you're dealing with a elderly person. Let's say not elderly person, somebody in their 60s or 70s, and they have some health conditions. They say, look, I want to drop some pounds. I want to get in shape. What are some of the things that you try to help them with starting off with overall? Oh, can you hear me?
Well, hello, and hopefully everyone's doing well tonight. Again, I'm Jada, certified personal trainer. And the first thing I like to do to see is where people are, is to see where they are, to start where they are. Some people like to jump into things and, I can do this, I can do that, and do that. I like to meet you where you are. When I do my programming, I start with the first basics, baseline, no weights, no anything, just to see where you are. Doing the push-up test, the step test, testing your cardiovascular, testing your strength, just to see where you are. Once we start there, and then starts the work. Getting back into fitness can start with easy, or it can start hard, depending on where your mind is. The mind is very important. So if someone's like, I can't do it, guess what's going to happen when they get inside the gym? So what I like to do is convince my clients that they can do it. Just motivate them. So once we start off slow and then go into weights after.
Wonderful. All right, Lionel. So what is your take? Again, let's say you have a client coming out of the blue, some joker you see jog around racetrack, and you see them and say, hey, I want to start working out with you. But I imagine you get clients of all age groups and whatnot. I mean, how do you get started with someone? You've never met this person before. What is your general approach to getting started with your clients?
Well, hello, and thank you for having me on your show. But most of the times when it comes to fitness, what I do, when you see a person out there, so a lot of times that's showing you that they do have the drive to be out there, but a lot of them don't have the knowledge about how to do it and how to go about doing it in the most efficient way. So like Jada said, when I kind of start them where they are, and I give them a fitness test. And in that fitness test, I'll allow their body to tell me what they need to work on. Like, for instance, a lot of people, when it comes to the body, you have to listen to the body. And the body, if it's weak, and if you're hurting, you don't have the balance, then it's a reason why you don't have it. So Basically, what I do, I start off with a detoxing program to try to change your mindset, because most of the time, when people get out and work, they have a lot of activity but no identity. So mainly when it comes to fitness, it starts in the kitchen. So sometimes when it's, like that, most of the time people say, well, okay, I used to be able to go out and I can lose weight and now I can't. But a lot of times as you get mature age, what happens is when you don't have a healthy diet, then to me, I stress that more than the actual fitness, because most people are result orientated. Once you can show them that result of when they eat right, they'll get the results, then they kind of seem to buy into the program easier.
Wow. So what I hear both of you saying, basically you start off with where the person is, you start off with a fitness test, and I see both of you have some key things in terms of mindset, getting into the person's mind, and of course, nutrition. I can tell from your backgrounds, you and Jada both love nutrition. Of course, y'all are saying all the wonderful things that I like to hear. What I want to do is I want to get into, as we talked about prior to coming on the show, and you guys share with me, there are 5 basic components of physical fitness. And what I'd like to do is break this show into 5 parts. And part 1, I would like to share with the audience is I want us to talk about the concept of cardiovascular endurance. Now that's, if you break this components of fitness down, cardiovascular endurance is thought to be the number 1, or at least one of the 5 components. So in segment 1, I want to get into cardiovascular endurance. So I'm going to start with you this time, Lionel, and then I go to Jada. What is cardiovascular endurance? And so kind of just go over cardiovascular endurance and why should we be concerned with that aspect of fitness? We're going to deal with that.
Well, that's very important. I feel that, the main objective should be you being heart healthy. And a lot of clients that I have, if I have 10 clients, about 8 out of 10 clients don't know how to breathe when they are training, because a lot of times they try so hard to do the workout to where they're straining, where when you're doing the workout, the heart has to get oxygen through the lungs. So the breathing technique is very important. So what I go back to, I try not to overwhelm them with a high rep number. I'll give them some short reps or short distance, and then I'll have them a recovery of about 45 seconds. And then as you begin to build their cardiovascular system and endurance up, then you're able to cut the recovery down from 45 seconds to 30 seconds as they begin to get conditioned, breathe right, and get the right oxygen to the lungs. Then you can cut it down to where they can do things back to back. But a lot of people that I deal with don't know how to breathe. And for an example, when you're exerting yourself, you should breathe out. And when you reducing the weight, you should breathe in to get ready for the next rep. So a lot of times those simple things like that is very important. And once they tap into that, they have that aha, okay, now they begin to get more endurance.
Wow. So cardiovascular is breathing. So I like the way you say that. And of course, when I'm working out, I like those long recovery times. Jada, so what, and from the standpoint of cardiovascular endurance, what is your approach with your patients and your clients? And what are some of the problems that you see in your clientele with cardiovascular endurance?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, for the last 2 years, I've been working with boxers and doing boxing training, and I've learned a lot about how you can change your cardiovascular system by just changing your altitude. Like sometimes you can go up on incline and just changing the, the movements and stuff. You can go up, your heart rate will go up. You know a lot about the cardiovascular system, right, Dr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Something special happens in the mitochondria. Yeah, something special happens and something called the mitochondria. So once that starts to happen in the system, that's where the fat starts to break down. And once you get your heart rate up to a certain amount, that's the only way you can get that mitochondria and that fat to start breaking down. And I like to get my clients into a training heart rate once we're working out and getting into the full impact of it, because if they're trying to lose weight, it helps to break down the fats. But when dealing with the heart, it has a lot to do with the metabolism. So if you're not getting yourself to a healthy heart rate when training, you're doing nothing with your metabolism. The heat's not burning in your body and not causing the fat to burn. In other conditions, the heart is the strongest muscle in the body. And the heart is love. I'm all into love. Sorry, guys. But in the heart, the strongest muscle in the body, and in the heart, you find the cardiovascular system. So when you're running and the heart's pumping, the blood's pumping into the body, you know how that works. So imagine the cardiovascular system and how that works. That's your metabolism. That's the rate. So if your heart's not pumping and you're not doing that, nothing's working. So I do the opposite. I start my clients, I push their heart, I make them run, I make them sprint just to see where they are. I take them to the maximum of their heart rate. And then, like he says, I see how long it takes to slow down. You'd be surprised how many people heart rate takes forever just to slow down. Once they go into the walk, their heart rate is still up there. So they're still burning calories, and their heart rate is still high, but it's not efficient enough to be in a training heart rate. And there's a difference. So some people go to the maximum heart rate and they get there within 1 minute. Some people, it'll take 10 minutes to get to the maximum heart rate. And that's how you can tell your conditioning level. And when training with boxers, we can take them to the mountains and they do a total different heart rate than they would do on the flatlands.
Wow. I'm going to ask this question to Delano, but while I have you up, I'm going to ask you to rank. Now, we've got this top is cardiovascular endurance. We got 5 different components we're going to look at. And between cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility and body composition, how would you rank this? Now, in terms of the clients that you see, which area do your clients are the most deficient in? So in other words, if most people are deficient in cardiovascular endurance, it'll be number 1, or maybe it's number 3, or maybe it's number 5. But I want you to rank this in terms of the number of the type of the area of deficiency that your clients have. So is this like the number 1 deficiency that your clients have, or cardiovascular endurance number 5, or what does it rank in these 5 areas that we're going to talk about?
Well, I would say when it's dealing with the heart, I would put that way up there as number 1.
So that's the number 1 problem you see.
Yes, I would say that, because a lot of us, we want to sleep, drink, and be lazy. So a lot of times people hire trainers because they want to be pushed, because they feel like they can't do it on their own. If they could, they would have already done it. So a lot of times the heart is absolutely, to me, number 1. Now, that's
the number 1 deficient you see, right?
Yeah, yes, that's what.
Okay. That's what people suffer from more. Okay.
Right. But when you take away that, I would say probably flexibility, because when you see people, you go to Memorial Park, it's like the mecca for runners. Okay. But you see people, if you sat there, you see them get out their car, they'll touch their toes and pick their legs up, and then they take out running. So I think they more into the science of fitness right now. A lot of things, they go into the science of it, but the basic fundamentals is stretching. And I put a lot of emphasis on stretching, because I don't think we do enough stretching. So
flexibility is the number 2 problem that you see.
Yes, that's what I see.
What's the third problem? What's the third ranking problem that you see?
Well, the third one would be the knowing how much resistance to use so I would say muscular strength, knowing how much resistance to use, how far to push them, because a lot of times it's the resistance that you have to learn first before. A lot of people or wants to just jump into it, and and they want to get this real fast. So I mean, and a lot of times when you do things instantly like that, it's not going to be sustaining over a period of time. So what I try to do, I try to get people to understand, instead of making it, getting there quick, make it a lifestyle, and and instead of trying to get there real fast. I
And
would
the
put
fourth
that.
problem you see, just finish out the list. The fourth problem you see is what?
Then the fourth
Between
one,
muscular endurance and body
I would
composition.
say a body composition. That's four, and then the last one would be endurance, muscular endurance, because that's when you begin to understand all the technique and all the things that goes into it, and you balancing your breathing. Then you begin to be able to take your reps higher, where you have a heavy day. After about 4 weeks of training, I'll take them into a max day after a month, and then I'll write that down, and then next month I'll have another max day. So the maxing out part is, for them to get there, I would be my last choice.
So, okay. So Jada, I know y'all see different clients, and so this list may be different from the two of you. What is the number one problem that you see? Of your clients, what are they worst at? The number one problem ranked down to number 5 between cardiovascular, muscle strength, endurance, flexibility, and body composition. What is your number one problem that you see?
Well, mine would be body composition.
Okay.
A lot of waist to hip ratio. A lot of people overweight. Their BMI, their metabolism, their body fat is very, very high. A lot of people don't understand the difference between body fat and muscle. So they're doing all this running and they don't have any muscle. A lot of people don't understand that. So that would be my number one, body composition.
What's your number 2 problem that you see?
And then for my number 2 would be flexibility.
Okay.
A lot of people don't understand that. They think they can touch their toes and do all this, but they don't have a joint rotation. So a lot of people don't understand the flexibility. They can do things in certain angles or in certain planes, but they can't do it in different planes. So flexibility, I would say.
The number 3 that you see in your clients?
And then for number 3 would be, I would say, muscular endurance, because I get a lot of people who can lift the weight, but they can't lift the weight for a long time.
Gotcha. So
and
endurance
then,
number 3.
Yeah, and then cardiovascular.
4.
I deal with a lot of people who are active. So I deal with a lot of people who are active, who are runners and bikers who are very active. So that would be my next, cardiovascular. And then the last one, of course, will be muscular strength. I deal with a lot of athletes and also bodybuilders. So muscular strength would be my least.
Wow. It's interesting that, and the reason I asked you to give you a different list, because I know both of you. I know that I get a sense for your clientele, and I can see. I probably would have guessed the ranking list for both of you had I had to guess, because I got an idea for the clientele. Lana, I've been out working out with some of your group of people in cardiovascular endurance. You've got a number of people who are, professional people. I'm not going to give their professions, but some have had cardiovascular issues and things like that. And so I can see how that'd be number one with you, and then Jada, of course, body composition. And really all of these can meld together. We're in an area where, obesity is very high. So you can see how body composition in one set would be very high, and cardiovascular disease is also very high. Now, I asked you to give that rank and number just to kind of get an idea as to what your different clientele show you. And I probably could have guessed, maybe not to exact numbers, but pretty close to what you guys said. So it's pretty interesting that I had some insight just basically knowing your clientele. So in terms of cardiovascular endurance, as we leave this, what I want to do, and I'm going to start back with you, Jada, is give our audience some tips in terms of, let's say you're going to start working out tomorrow and you want to improve your cardiovascular endurance. what are some things that you should consider doing just to get started? How do I get started on and just a couple of quick, simple tips if you're going to give me some advice on that?
Well, the first thing that I would recommend is to get a heart rate monitor. Something that you can measure your heart rate. An Apple Watch is very, very good because it gives you a lot of different things. A heart rate monitor. The second thing I would recommend, a partner, someone you can have accountability with. Accountability partner is always important. And then stretching, conditioning, and understanding. And then the third thing I would say is shoes. Some people get off running and they start running and they're running and they're running and they get knee injuries and they're wondering why they have hip pain and all things like that. They have their own shoes. So those are the top things that I would recommend. I'm a pusher, so I wouldn't say, I would just say go for it.
So Lana, along this idea of starting, heart monitor, partner, shoes, I'm sure you agree with those things. What would be, give me some example of some exercise. Let's say I'm a novice trainer, and let's say, I can't afford a trainer, but I want to just kind of get out and do some things. I want to improve my cardiovascular fitness. What would you recommend me doing? Where should I start in terms of maybe what exercise should I do?
Well, if in that case, I would say, I would go to a familiar place that's convenient for you to run, because a lot of times, or to walk, a lot of times, I would get the right, not only shoes, but equipment that I can feel real good about myself in. And that kind of begins the day. And like, for example, I have a heart condition and I've had congested heart failure. So like when I go out, that's how I measure what type of how strong my heart is. So what I would do, I would go to a Herman Park or a park and I would mark off my marks. Like I would, like, if I'm not a runner and you're having knee problems, that means you may be having some problems with your quad muscles, and a lot of people can't. Your hamstrings. A lot of people train what they see. They don't train what they don't see, like your hamstrings, your back, and stuff like that. So I would run 2 poles, and then I would walk 2 poles, and then I would, 30 minutes of cardio per day. And then I would try to stay there for a while and see how my conditioning go with that. And then what I would do, then I would run 3 poles and then walk 2 poles. And then I would just gradually, practically just try to add to that 30 minutes each day, trying to manipulate, not doing the same thing. I would do 2 poles for 2 weeks, then 3 poles for 2 weeks, and then I would go 4 poles. And then as you begin to feel the conditioning coming, then you can like string your runs together like that. That's the kind of approach I take with it.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that. And before we close out this segment, I'm going to just hit at a couple of questions that were asked. GMO has a high intense workout could create plaque in the arteries more than light workout. I'm not aware of any evidence of that. There is some evidence of benefits of intermittent training, intensity of training. We do know that long distance runners, so you may call that a high intense workout, but it's really a long distance aerobic workout versus a short-term anaerobic workout. And some people say the short-term anaerobic workout, where you have high intense with intermittent rest, can be healthier. But there's no evidence that a high intense workout create plaque in the arteries more than a light workout. And it's hard to really decipher these things because, we often do not, the confounding variable is what people are eating. And we do know that what you consume has a bigger impact on plaque formation in the arteries than otherwise. And so I think this probably has more of an impact in terms of arteries. There's another comment by Karen Evans. She liked to do dynamic stretching for warm-up and post-workout. And I've had experience with dynamic stretching as well. But you probably should warm up before you stretch. Would y'all agree? So like a jumping jacks, a light jog, then stretch, whether it's dynamic or static stretching. You should warm up ahead of time. And let's see, Cynthia Hammond wants to know where can she go to get proper shoes. Sometimes we believe that it's the right shoe, but isn't. Anybody want to address the issue with shoes, where you can go and get good shoes? Does it matter? Was that?
I think it's Juke's Locker.
Juke's Locker. Okay, so Juke's Locker is one. So there's a plug out to Juke's Locker. So yeah, there are a lot of good places to get shoes. Just make sure you walk in them and jog in them and have them, make sure they're comfortable in your feet. So what I like to do is end out this segment on cardiovascular fitness and go to our next segment. And so next we're going to talk about muscular strength, and we're going to get some tips on keys to muscular strength. So now we'll go to a quick break and we'll see you back shortly. Okay, we're back in segment 2. We're going to talk about muscular strength. Muscular strength is another of the 5 components that we want to cover. And so I'm going to bring my 2 guests back into the studio. So muscular strength, we alluded to this, and Lionel, you rank this as the 3rd leading problem that your people have. And Jada, you've ranked this as the 5th problem that you see. So tell us about muscular strength. I'm going to start with you, Jada. Muscular strength. What is muscular strength, and how do you address this in your clientele with muscular strength? I don't know if you can hear. She may be having some technical difficulties there. Jada? She may not be able to hear me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think your video is going in and out, but okay. Can you hear me okay? Good. So muscular strength, what is the thing you address with muscular strength? So let's say you got a clientele that come in. One, how do you assess their muscular strength? And then how do you start them on a program to address their muscular strength?
Okay. Well, muscular strength, sometimes people just look at people who have the definition and think they're very, very strong and that they have the muscular strength. And it's not necessarily like that. Muscular strength, I tested by squats and also push-ups. What I have my client do is free weight squats with no weights at all, just free bodies, weight squats, and also push-ups. And I see how many they can do within that 1 minute. And then I test it on a scale.
Wow.
To gain the muscular strength, you add weight. Certain exercises like bench press to gain chest muscles, a squat with a weight to do muscular endurance in the legs.
So you start with body weight, and so you say you see some people that look bulky, but they're not strong. Are some of these people on steroids, or what is it? How do you account for that?
Well, I can't really say that because I don't know what's going on. But sometimes people, they do 1 set reps. Like you get real strong men who they can come in and they can press a 315 just and they can take it. But then if you put them into a push-up position and try to make them do a push-up where they have to do it in a good form, they can probably only do like 10 or 20.
So and the reason for that is what? They're not working muscle groups properly. I guess with a bench press, you may be isolating certain muscle, but not getting total muscle groups. Is that the way you may explain that?
Well, sometimes you're using other muscles to work that muscle group. So some people get on that bench press and they use their back. They pull from their lower back and they're using all these other muscles to do that. But when you're using your own body weight, you have nothing else but to use that muscle. And especially if you're in the right form, you're only using those muscles which you're focused on working.
So if you would advise our clients in terms of muscle strength, you would advise them to not so much go buy expensive weight sets, but learn how to do exercise that utilizes their own body weight.
Well, I hate to say it like this, but I love to say it like this. It's what I call a prison workout. Because if you ever see someone who comes out of prison, they're really cut, their physique, they're really nice, set, their cuts, they have all their muscles in the right place. That's because guess what? They have no weights.
Wow.
So now in prison, they're making their own weights, but most of the time they're doing what they call push-ups, pull-ups, dips. So push-up, pull-up, dips, and prisoner squats can form your whole body if you do them in the correct form.
So the key advice to your clients is to break the law, get incarcerated, and then get into prison so then you get in shape. Is that right?
No, it's to hit it for 50 sets. We're starting off 50 sets.
No, that's great. That's great. So Lana, let me bring you into this discussion. So your muscular strength, so the use of body weights, I've worked out with you, and some of the more difficult ones are when I don't use the weights. What is your general approach to muscular strength with your clients?
Well, my idea for muscular strength is, I was a professional athlete, and when I was younger, I mean, hey, I went hard. Felt like I was Hercules, Superman. So, now I'm a more mature guy, so I'm just more of like, my clientele is more of a professional businessman, a doctor. And not to say that doctors not bodybuilders, but most of my clientele are 40 years and up. So it's like more of a lifelong sustaining body type where you can fly your airplanes, get out there and push your boats out, and do things like that, like a functional guy who don't have limitations. And so basically the muscular strength and being the bodybuilding, I don't really train a lot of guys like that. I've trained professional athletes and stuff like that, but I mean, for me in my mature age, I just kind of do more of the Tom Brady-ish type thing where you do use resistance bands, like Jada said, pull-ups, dips. It maintain a real lean, like flexible body. So, I mean, that's just not what I do. And when it comes in terms of bodybuilding. However, um, I know what type of training that is, but I like more of a functional body where you can, if you want to jog, you can jog. If you want to cycle, you can cycle. If you want to play basketball, you can play basketball. And your body fat and your body mass. Then if you're doing the things like she called it a prison workout, then you're using your body weight. It's like if you're traveling all the time, you're in the business, you don't have time to go to a gym. You may not go to a gym. So you got to do push-ups and dips in your hotel room. So what if you're gone for 6 months because you're doing business? So, I mean, I pretty much gear more towards that type of training than the real bodybuilding style.
Wow, that's impressive. I like that consistency between the both of you, because my personal experience working with both of you is that those are the things that you emphasize, and my personal experience is that those things really do work you. I mean, my goodness, I hate doing push-ups. I'd rather push some dumbbells up in the air because again, it really takes a toll on you. Let me throw this question out, Lionel, since you're up. Deep Park 1240. Are there certain exercises that can be done every day, like push-ups, sit-ups, squats, or planks? Or should we skip a day in between and exercise upper body one day or lower body another day? So can I just do push-ups and sit-ups every day?
Yes, because it's a natural calisthenics. It's not like when you lift weights and you do strength training and you lift a certain muscle group, because of the resistance of the weight, then I give my body a rest. And when I was playing professional football, the NFL had, the best trainers. So we would go in and do chest, shoulders, and back, real heavy. And then the next thing we'll do triceps, biceps, and trapezius. But you got to think, I was a quarterback. So really, if I'm lifting a whole lot of weights, then my arm strength and my flexibility in my arm, I will get real tight. So the main thing for me, they didn't allow me to lift too many weights because they want you to be strong enough just to be able to maintain, to be able to take a hit, to take, the pounding of the game, but mainly, the flexibility of it was better. But to answer your question, like right now, I go out and like today I'll do a push-up to where I'll do one push-up, then I'll stand up. Then I'll do two push-ups, then I'll stand up. Then I'll do three push-ups, then stand up. Then 4 push-ups, then stand up. Then I'll go all the way up to 20 in that one segment. That'll be my upper body workout. Then I do dips the same way. I'll do 1 dip, come down. Then do 2 dips, come down. 3 dips, come down. Then that's my back workout. Then abs, I'll get on the ab machine. And it's like, I want to see how many abs I can do in 1 minute opposed to doing 100 real slow. So basically, those things you can do every day. Dips, you can get on a dip bar. So basically, I work out every day because I believe if you brush your teeth every day, I believe you should train every day. So I do some type of exercising every day, but however, I don't lift weights every day.
Wow. Jada, what are your favorite daily exercises for your clients? I'm kind of going to throw out the bands because I want to hear what your comment on the use of bands. But in addition to bands, if bands are part of it, what would you recommend your clients do on a daily basis? And again, keeping muscular strength in mind. For muscular strength.
For muscular strength, I would recommend burpees with the squat and a push-up.
So the burpees, my favorite nemesis. See, you're just catering to the host. Those burpees
Jump
are
squat.
monsters.
So jump squat, go down, walk down, crawl into a plank. From your plank, go into a full push-up, all the way back into the plank, walk it back up, stretching the hamstrings, back up into a squat form where you're into squat, and give me a jump again. Now that's one full body exercise.
Wow. I hate that walk into a plank.
30 of those in a row.
3 sets of 10.
Question that we had here, Dr. Montgomery. We had a question about cardiovascular. Is running the only thing that you can do? No,
yes.
You can do burpees.
Yes, oh my goodness, burpees. That's a good point. Burpees that I have a love-hate relationship. I have to do them because they get the best of me, so I have to go back and do them. So anyway, this has been a great segment on muscular strength. So what I want to go to our next segment, we're going to talk about muscular endurance. So we're going to take a quick station break, and we will be back in a few seconds. Okay, we're back, and our next topic is muscular endurance. So, again, we want to break these segments down because I want you to get an understanding for the different components of fitness. Years ago when I was working out as was an athlete and what have you, and we did a lot of these things, but I never really understood the components. And I think as you understand the components of fitness and break these things down, it will certainly help you develop your exercise. And so what I want to do with my experts tonight is sort of help all of us come into our own as we try to build the bodies up. And throughout 2021, we're going to go into fitness on a regular basis. And we actually may have just 1 hour shows developed to one aspect of fitness or the other. So this is just the beginning of our overall approach and discussion on fitness. So let me bring our guest back into the studio. So muscular endurance. What is muscular endurance, Jay? I'm going to start with you this time. Again, muscular endurance, how do you get your patients evaluated for muscular endurance, and how do you address muscular endurance with your clients if the same patient?
Well, muscular endurance is something that you can keep doing before the muscular fatigue, before going to fatigue. So like I said, I do a testing with my clients. I do a squat test and a push-up test. Try to do it for 1 minute. Most people on the push-up test, they go into fatigue before that minute is up. I haven't found one person that does a full push-up for 1 full minute without going into fatigue yet. So muscular endurance.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I saw that, someone said do 1 push-up in a minute. I saw a video on YouTube, and there was a military general sergeant. He had one of these guys said, "Can you do a push-up in a minute? 1 push-up in a minute?" And so the guy said, "Well, sure." And so he went to do 1 push-up. He said, No. Just do a push-up slowly and do that push-up. Go through that push-up for 1 minute. I guess that's what you're talking about, right? That would be torture. Go through 1 push-up for 1 minute. That's
close, Dr. Montgomery. But I want to see how many, like, if you did push-ups for 1 minute, that would probably be like 50 push-ups.
Okay.
If you think one.
Yeah. And push-ups
50 push-ups.
Yeah.
How long do you think you can go?
Oh gosh, you know the answer to that. I'm not going to lie on the air. but I'm getting better. I'll say that much. I'm getting better.
So what I do with my clients, like Dr. Montgomery, I think we started at 5 push-ups.
Maybe 10. Come on, give me
maybe 10. All right. I start off with 10, maybe 10 push-ups, 3 sets of 10. Moving up to maybe 4 sets of 10, or going into 3 sets of 15, and then moving up, progressing. By the first month, you should be able to do at least 3 sets of 20. That's 60 push-ups.
Yep.
And then we go up and up and up from there.
And before I got busy, I'll have to mention I did get the 3 sets of 50. So that was the time back when I was doing my juice feast. So I was doing 3 sets of 50. So I remember that. You're my eyewitness to that. So, but anyway, so basically the push-ups and things are what you do to get endurance. Lana, let me bring you in on this discussion. So you're for muscular endurance. How do you address that in your clients?
What I do with my with the muscular endurance is there's push-ups and there's squats, the same thing, but I do like a 3-minute abs, because a lot of times the weakest part of the body when you first start training is the core. So basically, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time. So at the end or at the beginning, or when I give them a test, I give them a 3-minute ab workout. And I want to see how many abs you can do in 3 minutes. And every 10, you switch to another ab and you keep going. So by the time, most of the time when you get to about 1 minute, you're kind of getting fatigued. But I've seen some of my clients who have started where they couldn't do it, but now they can do the full 3-minute ab. So I kind of start with the core when it comes to muscular endurance, because a lot of times when you have a real strong core, I remember when I got to the NFL, and I thought I was in shape when I was in college. And when I got there, they said, "Hey, look at your core," and my core was not as ripped and lean. And that's when you see a lot of endurance. When you can master the core, then it kind of motivates you to be able to build the other parts of the body.
So you start with the core as kind of your anchor for strength,
right?
And it helps other things stabilize the whole body. Which again, I remember years ago when I I was in my private practice after I was married, had kids, and I got a trainer for the first time. I realized all along I work out on my own, and I never, I felt, well, I didn't need a trainer. But then I reflected back on times. Wait a minute, growing up, I've always had a trainer. We call him a coach, and so then I said, okay, I'll get a trainer. So I remember the first time working with him, he had me go down and do a plank. And so I thought it was the most evil thing in the world. But but yeah, planks. I think I have a psychological thing with planks because of that experience. But I was introduced to core strengthening by that exercise. But yeah, it makes a big difference in terms of and in my experience, in terms of your endurance to kind of get that core, because it creates balance to other parts of your body. So it makes a lot of sense. So anyway, let me go get this to the next segment. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take a short break, and we're going to go on to flexibility. And this is an area that I need to do more with. And I want to get both of your take on the importance of flexibility. So we'll take a quick break and head back to the next segment. Okay, we're on our next segment, segment number 4, and we are going to talk about flexibility. And so the importance of flexibility, I'm pretty stiff, as I like to describe. And so flexibility is something I've always struggled with in sports. And when I was competing, I would have issues with my hamstring. And so hamstring strength and flexibility was an issue that I dealt with. And so let's bring our experts back into the panel. And so I want to talk about flexibility. Lionel, I'm going to bring you up first this time, and share with our audience the importance of flexibility. What is flexibility, the importance of flexibility, and how do you address that with your clients?
Well, now we get into my favorite part. Flexibility to me this is how I explain it to my clients. It's like, when you see a baby come into the world, just a newborn baby, and, they have to depend on their mother for everything. And they do 3 things. They eat, they sleep, and then they have bowel movements. But day one, when they wake up, they stretch. Now, who taught them that? That, to me, that's God showing us through the body, through the baby, that you cannot teach a bird flying lessons, and you can't teach a fish swimming lessons. I feel that the baby stretch because it's designed for our body to stretch. A lot of times when we get mature age, I'm telling you, start aching, you have these tough workouts. And to me, stretching is one of the components that help you recover because your muscles is on fire. So stretching to me is a basic fundamentals. I'm kind of old school, I'm real old school. And I think to me that it's more science about the body and fitness, which is good. But you can never go away from the basic fundamentals, which is stretching. So that's my favorite part. I do more stretching than I'm just a big time stretcher.
So the importance of flexibility in someone. So let's say somebody has good cardiovascular endurance and good muscular strength and have good muscular endurance, but they're stiff as a board. What sort of problems might they have if they don't have good flexibility?
They have injuries.
Okay.
Yeah. So it prevents injuries because, as you get in depth into your training, you get deep into it. A lot of the times when you go to a football game, a basketball game, now they got dynamic stretching. You never see a guy just get out of his car and then go play a football game. So a lot of times the professionals get them out there, they get them to warm up, get them to stretch and stuff like that. So I go to football games early now so that I can see new techniques about stretching. So I teach my clients stretching, over and above. I'm always teaching them about stretching because even posture, your posture, as far as, we at the computer, we driving. A lot of times mature people, I call them mature people, that they say they 6'2", and then when they get older, they say I'm 6'1", because your posture, because you're not stretching, you're staying lean. So I'm a big time stretcher. I get excited about stretching.
Wow, wow. So Jada, flexibility. What are some things? So let's say I'm getting ready to get started on my workout, and I'm as stiff as a board tomorrow. I don't have the benefit of having a trainer. How would you advise me that I'm looking at this show and I'm going to get started tonight? What are some key things you would recommend that I do from the standpoint of flexibility? How do I assess what my flexibility is, and how do I get started improving my flexibility?
Well, I'm a big fan of going to sites. So I would recommend yoga. Yoga on a YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Just to go into YouTube, because you can also injure yourself when stretching. Some people overstretch their ligaments and tear things. You just can imagine what some people do with stretching. So I would recommend yoga. Starting yoga. About 3 years ago, I started practicing yoga, and my flexibility has gotten very, very flexible since I practiced that. So I would recommend yoga. And for stretching, I would recommend doing it when you wake and before you go to sleep. Also when during the workouts, but on a daily, when you wake up and before you go to sleep. Because having flexibility helps prevent injury, but it helps to keep you from injuring yourself and also other people.
Wow, wow. So yeah, injury and flexibility, that's certainly something I remember, again, running track and what have you, and then having some hamstring injuries. And, of course, I had ankle injuries also, but I do agree that flexibility has always been a key issue for me. And stretching. What I'm seeing on the chat room, some people say they want video demonstrations. What I will tell everybody, there will be a republication of these segments. They'll be in separate segments, and we will attach a video demonstration to each one of these. For the sake of time tonight, I didn't do that in the live show, but when we come back and republish this in the segments, we'll actually put in exercises, examples, and we have some video examples of these different techniques, things that address cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and body composition. So we will have that for you, what have you. So this is the ends our segment on flexibility. We're going to go to our fifth and final segment, and we are going to talk about body composition. And so how do you go from that, pear and apple shape to that nice lean cut physique? And we're going to hear from our experts once we get to this segment. So, but let's have one last break, and we'll talk about body composition. Okay, welcome back. And we're talking about body composition in this next segment. Hopefully you've learned a lot. And for those of you who mentioned earlier, just joining in, we will have some video demonstrations on each of these topics and how we address these things. So this last segment we're going to talk about is body composition. And it's an important one in the sense that lots of people are trying to lean up and improve the overall body composition. But I think body composition is important beyond just the aesthetics or beyond the cosmetic aspects of it. Lots of people may go have liposuction and various things like that. But I think there's some important physiological aspects of body composition. And I don't think you get there just by, maybe chopping away the fat, but, improving your body composition the natural way by improving lean muscle mass, I think is an important thing. So on the hot seat, I'll put Jada up first. Jada, talk to us about body composition and how do you address this problem? You saw this is your number one issue with your clients, and that's understandable because obesity is pretty prevalent in our environment. How do you address the issue of body composition in your clients? Do you send them off to get liposuction, or what do you do?
No, first I make them understand the difference between body fat and lean muscle. So once they understand that, they know. And I'm working on that right now because I just had a baby, and I'm working on my body fat compared to my lean muscle.
Gotcha.
So I got some body. Being a personal trainer and being really fit and having about a 14%, 8 to 18% body fat at all times, I'm now at a 29% body fat. So to know the difference of that is very important for my clients, and to break that down, hip to waist ratio and things like that, to understand the importance of that, and also to understand what the muscles do for the bones and joints. So to have fat on the muscle, on the joints, or to have muscle on the joints, it makes a big difference. So just to evaluate that and let them know the importance of the body composition is the most important thing to me. So you can be considered obese at a weight that I wouldn't say by the American diet, but you can be considered obese at 152 pounds if you're 5'6". And that's like, what? Whoa. It's like, wait a minute, whoa. So to understand the body composition is very important to me. A lot of women, we have this here where we can shake it and it moves.
Yeah.
Okay. But then look, I have a muscle there. Okay. So you see the body fat that you can pinch and grab okay. Some people don't understand the difference of that. So just to make them understand, and also how heavy muscle is. So muscle weighs 5 pounds. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 pound of muscle is very heavy compared to 1 pound of fat. It's a lot of fat. Okay, so depending on that, I'll show them the difference in that, and then we'll work from there. And also height. Like some people are very tall and short. So you can be a tall 160 and be slim and slender. So just depending on that. So if you understand your body composition, that helps you get to your goal faster.
Gotcha. Somebody has a question about bar workouts. Having danced, do you recommend bar workouts for building better body composition? I guess, I guess certain types of bars, BAR, worsen your body composition, but I think the bar they're talking about is a dance bar. I think one that the ballerina use. So Karen wants to know about your recommendation of bar workouts, like the ones that dancers use. Does that help with body composition?
Well, first you have to understand body composition. There's a bunch of things that are involved in body composition. It's your BMI, your weight, a lot of different things are involved in body composition. So bar workouts are fun, but I would say bar workouts would more help with flexibility.
Gotcha. I agree. That makes sense to me. So Lionel, body composition. Some of the lawyers and doctors and professional people, I guess, have to address this issue. How do you help them address the issue of body composition?
I totally agree with what Jada said when it comes to, first you have to get an understanding of how much 1 pound of fat and 1 pound of muscle weigh. So what I try to do in terms of the body composition is that I focus more on your eating, So basically I'll tell them, about, how important it is to eat so many grams of protein to feed the muscles. And then I'll break it down on what's going to add to them when you eat this to the fat part. And so basically, like she kind of covered everything. It's just balance. And basically, I tell them you can't out-train a bad diet. You have to manage what you put in your mouth, just like you manage your money. So you have to make good food decisions, and it's a balance to that.
So great food decisions make a difference. One thing that I've read about in terms of body composition, and from the standpoint of increasing muscle mass, and there is science showing that the nutrition has a big impact and the increasing of muscle mass. But the more muscle you have compared to fat, increasing your muscle increases your basal metabolic rate. And that's the science has shown that. And certainly people with poor body composition, so they have a lot of fat, their basal metabolic rate goes down, so they're not burning calories as fast. So, in our experience, we've recommended a plant-based diet for our clients for general health reasons, and we found that improved their body composition. So, to the point you're making, Lionel, I think nutrition is very important. And so I think that's something that we can all benefit from. So as we close out, again, body composition is our last topic. What words of encouragement, I'm going to start with you, Jada, would you give our audience, people probably out there training, trying to lose weight, they have trouble losing weight, there's some frustration that can set in. Give us some encouragement to send us to bed tonight so we can wake up with a breath of new enlightenment and refreshment. And also let us know how we can reach you as well. So start off with what general advice would you give someone who's getting started and maybe a little bit frustrated, a little bit nervous, intimidated? What would you say?
Well, just a little bit of encouragement. I just want to tell you guys that I'm a miracle. And I think it's based on going to my health. I'm 40 years old. I work out. I've been very active all my life. I eat healthy. Maybe started eating healthy for the last 10 to 15 years. No red meats or anything like that. I suffered a brain aneurysm and I totally survived. Walking, talking, and everything. That was 15 minutes before the doctor said I could have died. And I would say that was based on the fact that I worked out every day and I ate healthy and I took care of myself. So my body was able to regain back. Believe it or not, I was unable to walk. I'm not sure if you see my eye keep going crazy because I was totally unable to see in this eye. But I think due to my health, what the doctor says, my surgeon says that I recovered well. So to anybody out there that's living a life of maybe drinking lots of sodas, alcohol, or not taking care of yourself overall, even getting out for a walk a day would change your life. If you took 30 minutes out of your day just to go for a brisk walk, that would change your life. Sitting, standing while you're watching TV, just doing small things, moving up and down. And if you are an active person, I would say push it to another limit. So if you see yourself doing the same things every day, oh, I take this jog, oh, I'm doing 20 squats, oh, I can do 15 push-ups. Let's take those numbers up. Challenge yourself this year. By the end of the year, you should be able to do 50 push-ups, Dr. Montgomery, on one hand. Or what about the middle kind? Yeah. So I would say challenge yourself, make you a goal and push yourself to that limit. I am proud owner of Get Fit to Stay Fit personal training. You can Google me, Get Fit, the number 2, Stay Fit, and I can be found. I do personal training in the Houston area. I do home training right now due to COVID. I'm not working into any private gym areas, but I am offering an outdoor training in the medical center area near Dr. Montgomery's area. So I do offer that. And also, I love what I do. I'm very active, and I do train boxing training. So anyone who needs to throw some hands or want to do some cardio a different way, look me up. Follow me on any social medias. I'm at Get Fit to Stay Fit.
All right. Thank you very much, Jada. Thanks for those words of encouragement. So Lionel, again, words of encouragement. How would you encourage us in terms of getting started with our training programs?
Well, to give you a testimony about myself, yes, Oh, I was always an athlete. I always loved health and fitness. But at some point, I'm 59 years old. So, um, and I had Dr. Baxter is my doctor. I've had 2 congestive heart failures. I've had 2 ablation, 2 aversions, and I've never been cut on. And part of the reason is because I've always stayed fit. I always trained. I always worked out. And even during these times, I tested positive for COVID-19 when it was in March in a gym. In my gym, I got it, and I was in the hospital for a short time, but I walked out of the hospital before I tested. I was tested positive, and all that has to do with my faith and my fitness. So, my words of encouragement is like just start somewhere. Start somewhere. It's like 30 minutes a day, a walk. I mean, this is my assignment in the earth. That's what I'm put in the earth to do. So I thought it was playing football, but actually, I'm grateful for the clients that I have. I have a gym in the Heights. It's at 800 of Gregg Street. It's in the Heights. My name is Lionel Wilson. Basically, you would have to contact me through my phone number, and my phone number is 832-459-2398. I have groups in Herman Park from the COVID-19 because we want to be outside. I train at the River Oaks Country Club. I go to different people's homes and stuff like that. But it's just something that I have passion for, that I love. I would do it for free. Now, thank God I get paid for it. So I just encourage everybody that, one of the scriptures said he came that we may prosper and be in good health. So I believe that prosperity and health go together. You may not be rich in money, but you can be rich in health. So I believe that I'm rich in health. So that's my encouragement for you guys to get healthier this year, to take the steps to better your health, because you only have one life.
Wow. Those are very wonderful words of wisdom for both of you, and that whole concept of your health being your wealth. I've treated a number of patients with very advanced illnesses, and one thing I recall, at least on more than one occasions, patients saying, who are of a lot of means, they say, "Look, I would give away, all of my wealth to be healthy again." Because it doesn't mean much to have lots of money and lots of cars, but you're in pain all the time, or you're in the hospital all of the time. However, people who are strong enough to go out and enjoy the beautiful weather and lay in the sun or run on the beach, they can enjoy God's creation to a greater extent than people who are just sickly all the time, or in the house all the time, and who are just in pain all the time, requiring medications and frequent surgeries and procedures. So an important part of your health is your wealth, and perhaps a very important part of your health is your wealth, because people who are not very healthy frequently go bankrupt because of their health conditions and having to rely on the sick care system. So as you can tell, I put both of your emails in the ticker here, so individuals can also email you as well. I want to thank both Lionel and Jada for coming on the show. I've gotten a lot out of this, and as I said, when we republish these segments, we're going to have some fitness exercise on here. And as I said before, throughout 2021, we're going to talk about some of these fitness techniques in a little bit more detail, and we'll probably show some videos in terms of how to go about addressing each of these areas of fitness. So again, give our group a digital round of applause. We did go over, but it was a very important topic. Fitness is a very important area, and for a long time, I've been very busy in my practice, and recently I've, set aside time to dedicate myself to work out on a regular basis. And so this is something that's been near and dear to my heart, and I thought it'd be important to share with my audience. So, guys, thank you very much. I'll see you backstage, and as I close out the show. So, again, thanks for joining us this evening. Again, another very important topic, exercise and fitness. And many of you probably have an exercise routine, and many of you may have trainers. I hope this information was helpful to you. We will address these issues in more detail in the coming year because I think fitness is very important. Again, we are big on every aspect of natural health. We talk about eating and nutrition, and we address other areas of natural health, including cleaning up your home environment and cleaning up your body's environment, but moving and creating a stronger, more flexible, more enduring body is very, very important because, you know, if you don't have your body, if your body breaks down to where you can't live in it, where can you live? You have nowhere on earth to live if your body breaks down. So it's a very, very important area. And again, until we see you next Monday, we want you to keep it fresh, natural, and live.